In the village of Luma, beauty was easy to recognize. A beautiful girl had wide hips, thick legs, round cheeks, and soft arms. That was the standard. Everyone accepted it. Mothers taught their daughters to eat well and walk with confidence. Girls wore their wrappers tight to show off their curves. But not all the women in Luma looked the same. Princess Naya, the first daughter of King Dabo, looked nothing like the rest. She was extremely skinny. Compared to her three younger sisters, who were all curvy and admired, Naya stood out in a way that people didn't celebrate. From the time she was a teenager, people started to talk. Some whispered. Some laughed openly. A few even made jokes within earshot of the palace. Naya heard it all. She learned not to react. But that didn't mean the words didn't stay in her mind. Her parents, King Dabo and Queen Rina, tried to defend her. They reminded people that Naya was smart and well-mannered. But in Luma, those qualities didn't carry the same weight as beauty. Suitors came to the palace often, but they always asked for her sisters. Nobody came for Naya. Even when her father tried to set up an arranged marriage, no man agreed. Naya didn't get angry. She told herself that maybe marriage wasn't for her. If anyone ever chose her, it would probably be because of her father's position, not because of love. And that idea didn't make her feel better. She stopped going out. She avoided village festivals and gatherings. She preferred to be alone. But there was one thing that brought her peace: singing. As the seasons changed, the village of Luma prepared for its biggest event of the year, the Festival of the Moonlight. It was a celebration shared by 4 neighboring villages. People looked forward to it for months. Every family prepared special clothes, food, dances, and music. The festival was always held in a central village each year, and this time, Luma was the host. The whole village was full of excitement. Tailors worked day and night. Drummers practiced in open courtyards. Women braided their hair with beads and gold thread. But Naya didn't care about any of it. To her, the festival only meant more people and more whispers. It meant visitors from other villages coming to admire her sisters and ignore her. She had no plans to attend the events at the market square. Instead, she did what she always did. She got up early and walked toward the river. She stepped onto the flat rock where she liked to sit. Then she heard it. A flute. It was soft and far away, but the sound was clear. Someone was playing a melody, a slow, smooth tune that floated through the air. Naya turned her head, listening closely. She had never heard that kind of tune before. She started singing softly to match the tune. It felt natural, like the music was calling her. The flute kept playing, and the sound grew louder and louder. She didn't stop singing. She was fully enjoying the moment. But soon, she noticed that the festival music in the far distance had faded, and only the flute remained. She slowly turned her back and saw a man playing the flute with a huge smile on his face. The man stopped playing and asked, "Why did you stop singing?" Naya immediately began running, and the man followed her. But because she was not fast enough, he caught up with her. "Leave me alone," she said, panting. "Go and look for your entertainment somewhere else." The man looked at her kindly, wondering why she thought she was a joke to him. "I got lost trying to get to the market square, and I was trying to find my way when I heard you singing over there, so I decided to support you with my flute," he said. Naya took a better look at the color of his attire and realized that he wasn't from her community. She thanked the man for playing the flute for her, then directed him to the market square. But the man insisted that he would rather continue to play for her, and without Naya's approval, he began to play again, urging her to sing. When Naya saw that he was not going to give up, she began singing softly to the tune of his melody. After all, what did she have to lose? He was a stranger who she would never meet again, and she had the opportunity to sing like she always wanted. After a long while, Naya stopped singing. "Thank you, Mr. Flute Player. I really enjoyed myself," she said to him. "My name is Tayo," he answered. Naya told him her name, then said she had to return home. But Tayo pleaded with her to return the next day, and Naya agreed. As she walked home, her thoughts stayed on him. She couldn't understand why he had been so kind or why he wanted to spend more time with her. "Of course, he's not attracted to me," she told herself. It didn't make sense. In her eyes, it was strange for such a handsome man to take interest in someone like her. Still, all night, she couldn't stop thinking about him. No matter how hard she tried not to get excited, his face kept returning to her mind. The next evening, Naya made her way to the river again. When Tayo saw her, his eyes lit up. He looked genuinely happy to see her, and Naya couldn't hide her own excitement either. They talked for a long time, learning more about each other. Tayo asked about her family and life in Luma, and she asked about his travels and music. Afterwards, as usual, he brought out his flute and played. Naya sang along, her voice matching his melody with ease. This routine continued for the next 2 weeks. For both of them, those few hours felt like the best part of their day. Then one evening, after a long silence, Tayo finally shared what he had been holding in. He told Naya he liked her. Although she had suspected it, she didn't want to assume. Hearing him say the words made her heart lift. She smiled and admitted she felt the same way. Then he said, "I can come with my people on the next market day to see your parents." The moment felt unreal. But Naya nodded, and the decision was made. She rushed home and informed her parents that a young man from another village would be coming to ask for her hand in marriage. King Dabo and Queen Rina were shocked but overjoyed. After all the years of worry, they had never expected this moment to come. A few days before Tayo was meant to return with his people, something unexpected happened. An illness began to spread through the 4 neighboring villages. It started slowly, with just a few people showing signs of fever and weakness. But soon, it became clear that it was serious. To stop the sickness from spreading further, each village shut its borders. Everyone was told to stay indoors. Visitors were no longer allowed in or out. Then, something even worse happened. Naya fell ill too. For more than 3 months, she struggled to stay alive. It affected her body in unexpected ways. Unlike most people who lost weight, Naya's appetite changed in the opposite direction. She was hungry all the time, and even small meals didn't feel like enough. Her body began to change without her control. She had gained weight. Her body had developed in all the places her people admired: rounder hips, fuller chest, a smooth waist and soft curves. Her face, which used to be narrow, now looked well-shaped and defined. Her cheekbones stood out. Her lips were fuller. Her beauty was now so clear that even those who once mocked her couldn't deny it. Wherever she went, men stared at her with admiration, some of them the same men who never looked at her twice before. They would offer greetings, carry things for her, and try to start conversations. The wealthier ones even sent gifts and asked her parents if she was ready for marriage. She had become the most beautiful girl in the village. Naya walked with more confidence. She held her head higher than before. And slowly, without even meaning to, Naya started to feel too good for Tayo. When the borders were finally open, she went to her and Tayo's spot to wait for him, because she knew he would definitely come. When Tayo set his eyes on her, he almost did not recognize her. "Wow, my princess. I missed your beautiful smile," he said. But Naya gave him the cold shoulder. She felt too mighty to be in his presence. Tayo thought she was only acting up because she had missed him so much. So he brought out his flute and began to play for her to sing, just like old times. But she shouted at him, ordering him to stop the noise. "Mr. Flute Player, I am not interested in whatever you are playing. I only came here to tell you that I don't want to marry you anymore." Tayo was alarmed at her change in behavior. She stormed out of the place, warning him never to reach out to her again, as they no longer belonged to the same class. Weeks passed, and Tayo kept sending messengers to Naya, hoping she would change her mind. But she ignored all of them. Instead, she was entertaining the long line of men who were now interested in marrying her. One day, she came up with an idea. Naya decided to host a hunting competition for the eligible bachelors in the village. And whoever emerged as the winner with the biggest game would be crowned as her suitor. The competition was announced, and news of it spread beyond the borders of Luma. A lot of men signed up to win the heart of the first daughter of the great King Dabo. The king even invited royals and wealthy men from surrounding villages for the event. Naya decided to stay indoors for the next 4 months to receive the best beauty treatment that would wow her suitors. But she failed to recognize one thing. It was the illness that had changed her body. Her old eating habits remained the same, so while she was indoors, she kept eating small portions, just as she always had. And day by day, the curves began to fade again. When the 4 months had elapsed, Naya had returned to her previous figure, slim and straight, just as she had always been. She was disappointed in herself and tried her best to cancel the event. But her father refused. "I'm sure you'll find a suitor regardless of your present situation," he said. On the day of the event, warriors, farmers, traders, and many eligible bachelors made their way to the village square, preparing to win the heart of Naya, the first daughter of King Obeisai. But when Naya was called out to greet her visitors, the men stared at her in shock. She wasn't what they had bargained for. And one by one, they began to walk away, returning to their villages without saying a word. Naya had never been so embarrassed. As she was about to leave the place in shame, her eyes caught a familiar figure. It was Tayo. But it wasn't the Tayo she was familiar with. He was dressed like royalty, very different from the plain clothes he wore during their meetings. People around him stood aside in respect. They looked at each other for a while, until a voice soon interrupted their gaze. "My prince, your father is ready to leave now." Just like Naya, Tayo was royalty. His father was the king of one of the 4 villages. But because of his love for music, he would usually disguise himself and play the flute with everyone during the festivities. He didn't want to be treated specially by the other villages. As Naya watched Tayo turn his back and begin to walk away, she realized that she had lost a good man, someone who had loved her regardless of how she looked. It was such a pity because she never got the opportunity to find love again. A few days later, Chief Boko, a man old enough to be her grandfather, came with a proposal. He offered 20 cows and a plot of land to marry the king's daughter. He already had 9 wives. Her father accepted without discussion. The wedding was quiet with no celebration. Now, Naya lives in a compound far from the palace. She fetches water, cooks for the other wives, and sleeps in a small hut.